Hello viewers, good afternoon to you all. Well, not so long ago, about 2-3 months ago, we saw the medical interns, but also the medical doctors under their umbrella association, laying down their tools on the reasons that, well, they're underpaid, issues around their welfare, among other pressing concerns. Their plight was put out there and the country also it. Well, again, in a unique turn of events over the weekend, we saw the same people under that same umbrella organization kneeling down before the president and asking him to contest in the next general election. Well, we don't know if this comes as on the background of their demands being met by the president, or it's just politics. But also, can we distinguish between professionalism and politics? Colleagues, I'm joined by a panel of distinguished young people, who is now my honor and pleasure to introduce to you this afternoon. On my immediate left is someone who you've seen on this show before. He's a lawyer by profession, but also is the national coordinator, the National Youth Coordinator, rather, for the Alliance for National Transformation. Ndugu Nelson Agaba, many thanks for joining us.
Pleasure being hosted once again on this space.
I saw you in outside countries. How was it?
Yeah, it's good to explore and see developments, and many questions come. Can we also have such developments in our country, Uganda? Yeah, it is possible if we have sober and responsible persons in positions of responsibility, which they execute for the benefit of society.
Wow, thank you. Yes, the other gentleman on the show is Mr. Yusuf Welunga, who is the president of the Uganda National Students Association, UNSA. Mr. President, thank you for sparing the time to be here.
Welcome, Comrade Kidega.
How is UNSA?
Pushing. We are in the process of causing transition, and soon we shall have the new team.
Yeah, thank you. Well, there is a third gentleman, but for now, the only lady on the show is Melissa Kankunda. Melissa is a student of law at Makerere University. Melissa, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah. How do you feel for the first time?
Excited.
Excited. Nelson, let me just begin with you. Is it professionalism or politics at play? Which is which?
Very interesting. Thank you, our moderator and the viewers. My name once again, Nelson Agaba. I'm the National Youth Coordinator of the Alliance for National Transformation, a values-based political organization that is set to transform the political culture of our country, Uganda. And given the discussion of today on the recent spectacular comic display led by the president of Uganda Medical Association, Mr. Samuel Olendo. It was not only humiliating, embarrassing, but also demeaning of the profession of medical doctors. So for me, it is something that I was just being conflicted. I'm like, I'm feeling so sorry. I was feeling so sorry for the young men and women who were, also in the white coats, together with him, trying to kneel down for the president. One, were they victims of manipulation, or or it was just fear? Also fear. Given there is the president, and maybe probably some people, fear can take away your dignity. Fear can also you sell yourself because of fear. So I was just looking at these young men and women. Are they in total agreement with what their president is saying or not? That put aside, we saw just a few days ago, is it yesterday, when we saw the vice president and the general secretary now coming up with a press release, disassociating themselves from what their president did. It's quite unfortunate. Young men and young women to find, beggars on the street do not even kneel down for a fellow human being for just arms, for something to eat. You're having the entire profession now being diffused in worship a political leader. This was an opportunity for the president of the medical association of the Uganda Medical Association, you know, team to advance the rights and interests of medical doctors. They have been crying the other day of delayed payments. They need increased pay. When you look at on the region, you know, on the East African region, our doctors are the ones that are taken for granted, but all in the name of now worshipping. And I would just, you know, if you really listen to the words in Uganda, mbasaba mwena mwena tukirire wansi ku mavivi you know, fenga abasawo twalabye Museveni nti asobola. You get it? He forgets that he is an association leader. People that he leads belong to other political organizations, for example. He even forgets the dignity of the association since 1964. People that have led that association, even in the times of, in the most difficult times, but they stood their ground. They knew their self-worth. They knew what it is to be a leader of a profession. Professionalism is professionalism. So where you find you're just selling yourself, you're selling your self-worth, your dignity, your professionalism, it is quite embarrassing and humiliating. So you just, maybe I understand him as an individual. I am told when I tried to know about, I just wanted to know what is the person of Orlando, Samuel Orlando. I got to know he studied from KIU, Ishaka Medical School, was financed, you know, sponsored by government, which is Museveni, probably, you know, by human. I think he wanted to appreciate the benefactor. And he forgot that there is a profession to honor. I don't know what other senior, reputable medical doctors in the profession think about the act. We need to understand that there is professionalism and your personal right. So, you know, the act of the president of UMA, Uganda Medical Association, it fell short, you know, the minimum standards of a medical profession.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, it
Yusuf,
fell below the
Yusuf, you've heard the words
standard.
coming from Comrade Nelson.
Yes.
They are not very kind words, but I have to come to you. When you look at the people who went down on their knees, among those were students, right? You are at the helm of students' leadership in this country. The question is, the same students who not so long ago said that our welfare is being compromised, we sleep in poor places, we lack enough transport, we lack enough PPPs and all these things. We are now saying, Mr. President, please, Chisanja.
Well,
so I don't know, how does this augur with you as
thank you
a
very
student
much.
leader?
The people who knelt were not under students' organization, were under doctors' organization. Students have their own organization, that is Uganda National Students Association. So whatever was done, it wasn't done by UNSA, it was done by Uganda Medical Association. So I wanted to give that.
Clarify.
Yeah.
Okay.
To, you see, kneeling in Africa is one of the acts of African culture. And it's a sign of respect, it's a sign of appreciation, and so on and so forth. We've seen people kneeling before Kabaka. We've never condemned that. So why does it become an act of, you know, why does it become an offense if someone kneels before the president?
But the Kabaka is not a political leader.
It's true, but he's a human being.
But not a political leader.
But he's a human being. And here they never knelt for an ordinary person. They were kneeling for the first citizen, the fountain of honor by the Uganda's constitution, the number one citizen. Do you know how many people wish to kneel before the fountain of honor, but they've never had that opportunity?
What were the words that accompany the kneeling?
First, leaving the wording, I'm on an act of kneeling first. So kneeling alone is a sign of respect. I don't believe, like in my culture, when I'm talking to my mother, I have to kneel because I respect her. And if she does something good for me, still I'll have to go on my knees and appreciate. So whatever was done as doctors at the moment, they have reasons why they should appreciate the president. They were crying of enhancement in their pay. As we speak, doctors and those related to science courses, they're now jubilating. Why not to appreciate? Someone does something good for you. So how you appreciate doesn't matter as long as the message has reached. So one of the reasons that made Dr. Oledo and the colleagues to kneel, they were appreciating what the government has done for them. And it's not only about payment. He talked of improving the welfare of the doctors. He talked of restocking the healthy facilities and so on and so forth. And in his communication, if you listen to him very well, it was like at least something has been done. So it gave him an opportunity to kneel, to thank the president. That is one. Two, Dr. Oledo is also a human being who has his own programs, who has his own political journey. We've seen him vying for vice chairman Northern Region. We've seen him vying for Yala representation, and he was frustrated. So you never know. He wants to, to be in the book of the darlings of the darlings of some leaders in the country per se. So
killing the profession?
No.
Yes, because if he's to be in the book, now he's looking for favors. He's negotiating for favors.
He has not killed his profession.
Negotiating as a right as a president.
Hold on. What is Oledo's profession? Oledo's profession is a doctor who has to treat people, who has to take care of the patients. Has Dr. Oledo abandoned his activities? Is he not attending to patients? Dr. Oledo is the president of Uganda Medical Association. His role is to advocate. Has he not advocated for the enhancement of payment of doctors? Has he not achieved that?
Okay.
Hasn't he advocated for the welfare of the doctors to be improved? Hasn't he done so?
Okay. If I may read, can I read?
Dr. Oledo is a doctor and is a lecturer at the same time at KIU. Is he not lecturing students? That is his profession. So it would sound otherwise if Dr. Oledo would say, me as the president of UMA, as a medical personnel, I am no longer interested in pursuing my profession. But
Okay,
he is
Yusuf.
doing his profession.
Yusuf, thank you. Fair enough. I have to bring in Melissa. Melissa, I have read a book by Professor Lokonyango, and it was titled When Courts Do Politics. And I would understand why Professor wrote that book, because courts are a place of justice, and they must be neutral because they are arbiters. But when you look at the medical profession now doing politics, what does this mean for us as a country? Because he has said that how you do it does not matter. Because he said that they were trying to appreciate the president. How they did it does not matter. But as a law student, do you care about procedure? Do you care about certain things, certain values being upheld? I don't know. What does this mean to you?
Well, personally, I really do care about procedure and appreciating judicial review and all that, that looks at the processes as to how people get to these decisions. Sometimes the decision may not as well matter. I do not condemn kneeling. If he personally wanted to kneel and thank the president for whatever he has received, that would have been totally up to him. But using a forum as the medical association brought out a different kind of message. It's different if I came and knelt before the president and said, oh, I'm a government student and I'm thankful, which is also the bare minimum because the Constitution provides for the right to education. So why should I be grateful that I'm a government student, especially if I've earned it? So him kneeling as a person would not have, caused all this.
But he lowered
kneeling and saying that please Tukusaba
yes,
to contest
and
in the next
him
election.
kneeling to thank and all that would not be a big deal. But the fact that he came in and asked the president to run again, we support you, I feel like that was a very wrong forum for him to bring up such ideas. It is your idea. If you support him, we are a democratic country. Wait for the time when he runs. You will stand, you will say whatever you have to say. You know, we have that whole political time when people are running up and down, sending posters. You will say all you want. You have your status, you have your own platforms to express that. But now you are using a medical forum, a medical association, which is supposed to uphold the professionalism of medical personnel.
No, I want to ask, assuming the presidency of UMA was a public office, would this warrant maybe legal action, if I'm to ask? His actions, would they warrant, because I mean, public servants should operate in accordance to certain legal provisions. So I'm just asking myself, if any other public officer, maybe the president or maybe, I don't know, but if a public officer did such an act, is there any legal remedy that could be pursued after them or against them?
I believe legal remedy would be a stretch, because for a legal remedy to be available in that regard, then there should be a law providing that it is illegal to do that, but it's not written anywhere that it's illegal for someone to kneel down and express his feelings. However, I feel like there should be disciplinary action, because it's the reason the medical boards are there. These boards are supposed to guide the professionalism of doctors. If the president himself is not professional enough, then I feel like he should be reprimanded. Probably there should be sanctions for such kinds of indiscipline. Just like in any institution, it may not be really legal that, you know, the law says this, but
disciplinary action.
Yes.
Macxzzon, let me come to you. This particular event or incident comes at the wake of endorsements. We have seen different camps endorsing different individuals for the presidency. You know, we have seen, is it army? I don't know. There are so many groups endorsing different candidates for the presidency. So was this act inspired by the pressure of endorsements for the different camps?
Thank you very much. I am waiting for the day my friend Nelson will kneel for my sister Melissa for proposal. Then we shall discuss it.
But you know, I may be caveated.
But until 1962, we had only two women members of parliament, female members of parliament, Visla and that was an Indian, and Florence Rubega. Then about two medical doctors. I was trying to dig facts, only two medical doctors. And up to 1995, when medical doctors were looked at as, or everyone in medicine was looked at as a political novice and people who are not necessarily capable to plow the field of politics and also shape a particular conversation, shape a political opinion, and also participate fully in politics, and also guide society in terms of leadership. But as we speak, we have more than 8 medical doctors in parliament. And if I'm not mistaken, for instance, at Makerere, in the last 3 or 4 years, Makerere has been led by a medical student. This goes back to the leveled ground that has been established by the national resistance movement in this country. That each and every person, whether you come from which profession, whether you're a military officer, as long as you retire very, very well, whether you're in Whether you're a lady, whether you're a medical practitioner, whether you're a lawyer, whether you have the same right, just like Muhwezi has, to participate in politics. The greatest mistake we can make here on this show as young people, and I want to believe that quite a number are viewing us, the biggest mistake is to think that my opinion should be Kidega's opinion, and that actually my enemy should be Kidega's enemy, and that whatever I think should be what you think, and if you don't do so, then you're bad. No. Whether I'm a medical practitioner, whether I'm a political scientist or lawyer, I hold a political opinion. This
Even as a public servant, even as a public servant.
Macxzzon, I agree with you. Macxzzon, I agree with you.
Wait.
No, Macxzzon, just hold up. I agree with you on that. Yeah? Ugandans have equal rights, okay? But we are speaking about people who are mandated to offer neutral service. And the question is then that, do you think that these political affiliations, when well espoused and put out there, could compromise service delivery?
I was coming to that. I was just giving a prelude, a background. So, culturally, here, it is okay to kneel for someone in appreciation. It is okay to kneel for a particular leader for appreciation. It is okay to kneel for a wife or husband for appreciation. It is okay for, I can wake up in the morning, I kneel for Kidega. Maybe he has done something for me, or he has done something for my society. But on this table, it is not proper for a Ugandan to kneel before His Excellency the President and say, I appreciate your immaculate contribution to the medical profession, and because of so, in my opinion, not as Uganda Medical Association, listen, not as Uganda Medical Association, we are requesting that because of this contribution, for instance, medical doctors from 1 million to 5 million.
No, actually, maybe for information, he said, listen, just an information.
Just take this, Macxzzon.
You always ask for information.
Okay.
Here we always have decorum.
Okay, please ask him.
Yeah, you can always say, can I?
Nelson, please.
Okay, can I give information?
Because when you are talking, you are really humble.
May I give you information? When you say that he did it in his personal capacity, say, Fenga, so I will read I will read it in Uganda. Fenga basao. It is here, you know, it is so much. Fena mbasaba tukirire wansi ku mavivi tweyanze omukulembeze w'eggwanga mujje tukirire wansi tweyanze omukulembeze w'eggwanga Katonda gwe yatuwa Your Excellency webale okutuyimusiza naye nga tumaliriza nga tukusaba ku mavivi gaffe Your Excellency fe twasanzize nga abasawo twasazeewo ffe ng'abasawo ffe ng'abasawo nti osobola.
So does that statement embody the institution?
He represents the association.
The entire institution. He was committing the entire institution. Yes, we shall.
But he's ahead of the institution.
It's like saying that. It's like saying that.
He's the leader.
Okay, please.
He was not saying Nzenga Orlando. Let's be opinion. Let's give a genuine opinion.
My brother Nelson, the bit of any debate on air is that you listen, I listen. When you talk, I listen. When I talk, you listen. Such that the viewers can benefit.
But I cannot take misinformation. Disinformation is chemical.
Then you have time.
It's chemical for me, it's chemical for Uganda. So that's why I had to inform you.
That's why we have a model.
So the information was he did it in the capacity as the president, committing the entire medical association institution, which was below the standard.
Mr. Kidega, I think we are just loud speaking, and I wouldn't want to.
No. I know. I want to appreciate Nelson. Nelson was trying to give you some information, which he has done.
But
so hope that information you can use it as you build on your point.
Oh yes.
Oh,
So let
may
me
I interlude?
after you
Just
will
after
come.
me this second.
Nelson, as far as I know, is the national chairperson of the ANT
Youth League, yes.
I don't think he put a disclaimer here that the views that are going to be expressed by him are actually for him as an individual. And in any case, even when he's wearing ANT outfit, it's not necessarily that he's not representing ANT, isn't it? So the moment,
Macxzzon, I want to ask you something.
listen,
I'll ask you a question.
listen.
When presidents
Yeah.
convene in Arusha or convene in Washington, and they go ahead to ratify certain documents, is the country bound by that decision? Or they're given
absolutely.
they are bound
In this
because
case,
they
there was no
represent
document.
because they represent.
Okay?
No. It could be an opinion.
No.
It could be
You know,
uttered
there
down.
was a response, by
But
the way.
they
The
represent.
general secretary, okay? The general secretary of that association, and also the head of mobilization released the document.
Yes.
The document is here.
Listen.
You see, we need
This is
to
not a
Macxzzon,
market.
Yes.
1 minute.
This is
1
not
minute.
a
I have to bring
market.
in Melissa and Yusuf.
That they said the views, action, and whatever Oredo did are not entirely and officially an opinion of Uganda Medical Association. And therefore, we are looking forward to having annual general meeting, okay, to discuss the matter. That means there's no official position of Uganda Medical Association in terms of endorsement, in terms of appreciation, in terms of anything. However, there is no law that can stop any Ugandan to express themselves in terms of appreciation, in terms of belonging, in terms of action, as long as it doesn't contravene with the law, of Uganda.
Okay, thank you. Melissa, I want to bring you in. First of all, you had a concern. I don't know to who it was going to, but my question to you is that, do the actions of these doctors represent the hegemony that the NRM is? Does it represent the NRM as the hegemony in Uganda's political dispensation?
Kidega, that is a tough question. It's not hegemony. It's not about ground. It's just about ground.
No. Being a hegemony is not something bad. You're simply a dominant force.
Yeah.
Yes. So does this speak to the fact that the NRM
maybe
is a
Nelson is
hegemony?
not happy with the dominant
Okay,
force?
before I answer to your question, I had a concern with their altercations. If I stood and said, in our tribe, we say this, or we as lawyers, would that mean I am speaking for the entire
Not at all.
Do you have
Uganda
their
Law
mandate?
Society?
Do you have their mandate?
Not at all.
Now, if
Wall, former President Wall, if she spoke and said, we as lawyers, she's speaking on behalf of all lawyers because she has the mandate. She has been elected. Okay, she has been entrusted with the mandate through a vote. Please, you're our leader.
No. That's different.
So.
That is different.
Okay, what triggered a
Mr. Kidega asked a point.
We are in
Mr. Kidega
Melissa's
asked a
time.
point that
Maybe I will.
if we are invited officially for a particular function, I commit to a particular matter. I put my hand. I write. I certify documents, and we publicize them. Really, that matter is going to be operationalized, and the entire country is behind. I mean, if it is the president, the whole country has to rally behind that particular opinion. For instance, this is the president of Uganda National Students Association. There is no law that really stops him from airing an opinion, driving a particular road.
But his opinions represent the students of this country.
But to what level?
Because he is an elected
To
student
what
leader.
level? No, there is, for instance, he cannot wake up in the morning. I want to believe he cannot wake up in the morning and say, all students from today, all students, we are putting on one uniform. You get it? There are procedures.
No. Of
You
course.
get
His decisions, for as long as they're not ultra-virus, for as long as they don't defeat human thinking and reasoning.
So how does kneeling?
For as long as they are for the good.
How does kneeling?
For as long as it is for the good
How
of
does
every student,
kneeling
it has
and
no issue.
appreciating the
Mr.
president?
Muhwezi and my colleague here, my question is, where do we get to discern, where do we draw the line that this is now someone acting as their person and this is someone acting as a president to this society or
It's
something?
simply because they left before the president.
Maybe
Only
can
that.
I give information
Only
to that?
that.
The information is this. You see, we have seen forums where when someone, you know, mandated, you know, with responsibility or a particular office, and in this case, the office of the president, UMA, is a non-partisan organization. So it is a non-partisan position. You get it? We agree on that.
But with people with political opinions, right?
No,
Nelson is protected.
right?
Nelson is protected.
Nelson
is protected.
No, what you need to, as you give him,
you need to
Nelson is
understand.
protected.
No, you don't. There is,
Maxxzzon Nelson is
as
protected.
a medical practitioner, as a lawyer, Kidega as a lawyer, Melissa as a lawyer, him as a student. This is a non-partisan institution. You get? It doesn't take away the fact that he has a political opinion. I want you to have that in the mind.
I agree.
There is no law that stops a medical
You have
practitioner
every
from
Ugandan has it, but
You get it?
that's do you know why? For example, we have people who are public servants who are even bad. That before you engage in politics, you must have resigned these numbers. Do you know why we have those laws?
Absolutely.
You know, because they should not use their position to do partisan politics. They are non-partisan. Why do we have such designed laws?
In this case, it was not partisan politics. It was simply an appreciation.
Calling the president to run again. That's politics.
Okay.
The president
That's
Okay,
politics.
Nelson,
So I want to read this
Nelson
letter.
and-
Just there is a letter here.
and
Maxxzzon.
I just want to
Another
tell
thing.
what
Nelson
triggered
and
this
Macxzzon.
letter.
Another thing, finally.
Decorum.
Another thing, just a second. These are highly trained medical practitioners.
What do you mean?
Okay, listen,
Without values, you
listen,
don't speak
listen,
of your profession.
Listen,
values
listen,
are a core of a human being.
I don't think when you go to Murago, you first ask the medical doctor whether they
No.
have values.
No.
They simply work on
Okay, Maxxzzon.
They were
Maxxzzon Nelson is
I don't
protected.
think they were grabbed, bundled, and taken to Kororo, and they were coerced and cajoled to kneel down for the president. These are right thinking and high.
If they are right thinking, maybe.
Thank you.
Just
Maxxzzon.
now, I am not talking.
Maxxzzon, you're
I'm
on,
not talking to you. Let me talk to you,
You're on
Uganda.
Melissa's time. You're on Melissa's time.
Let me listen
And you're on
to talk.
Nelson's time. Nelson, you have 1 minute to make your point.
Okay.
Then I'll be back.
The point I wanted to, because this is clear, we need to know when there is a matter of controversy in any position, leaders of non-partisan, even of partisan institutions, if they want to give a personal opinion, they issue a disclaimer and say, this is my personal opinion. Don't tag it to, you know, to the position I represent or the party I represent or the office I represent. Wherever you go as a leader, you represent the position you hold. It is until you issue an express disclaimer by word of mouth or in writing that you can be exonerated. Do you know why is it that even the medical practitioners, fellow leaders, felt embarrassed, felt humiliated to an extent that they had to be triggered to write a press release? And point number one saying, Uganda Medical Association is a non-partisan and therefore does not participate in politics. They recognize that. Their president demeaned the worthiness of a profession
I accept.
to go
No, Maxxzzon.
Okay, you accept. Thank you very much.
I accept.
Point
But
number two.
I have a question.
Point number
later.
two. Then, they said, us as Uganda Medical Association, we disassociate. They feel, feeling embarrassed by your colleague.
Maxxzzon,
They are
Maxxzzon,
disassociating themselves from his communication. Do you know why? Because he committed the association saying, Fenga Basawo. He took them all.
All right, no, Maxxzzon. Maxxzzon, this
we
isn't
need to
between.
know that.
This isn't between
It is not-
Nelson and you, Maxxzzon. No.
Just a second. I beg just a second. Every time medical practitioners have gone on strike, they have asked to sit with His Excellency the President. Okay? They accept. There is no day you have come to TV as ANT to say that whatever you're doing is political because you're going to meet President Museveni who is NRM. You get what I'm saying? You have not stood to say that, ladies and gentlemen, we cannot allow medical practitioners to negotiate with the president because he's partisan. So you cannot come here and trade paradoxical issues.
Okay.
Wait, paradoxical issues.
I gave you 30 seconds.
Because they are striking, it is okay. They can negotiate with the president. Okay, but because But because they are at Kororo, they have no right to talk to the president.
Okay.
That is paradox when you're confusing the viewers.
Points taken, Macxzzon. Melissa, my question to you was that, do these actions represent the hegemony and the dominance of the ruling political party?
Of course they do, because by the time someone feels the need to kneel before someone, most times it's to I feel like if it was an appreciation that he really wanted to put across, there are so many ways you can put across this appreciation. And this event didn't happen immediately after the said changes had occurred. You could have written, you know, you could have made, when you were striking, you weren't in front of the president. You would have organized yourselves again and put yourselves together, then stand out. And from our previous strike, these changes have occurred. I still believe we are not yet even there. For someone to reach a point of kneeling down and thanking, there should be a significant change in what they've been requesting change for. We still have understaffed hospitals. We still have pharmacies that are in short of drugs and all that. We still have drugs that are overly priced. And if you have no insurance, you're not going to be able to get some kinds of medication and all that. So I believe the reason someone would reach a point of kneeling and appreciating as if heaven and earth has been done for them, yet it was just the bare minimum, is because they feel a dominance of the other party. And to be honest, it's not only in the medical profession, it's almost everywhere, it's evident. Their dominance, in some way people are saying, if you do not support this, you are not going to get this. How can you be connected into this? Like, there's a certain type of way you have to fit in order to belong. And that only speaks of dominance, really.
All right, Yusuf, let me come to you. Yusuf, Michelle Obama wrote a very interesting book, Becoming. Therein, she says that so many of these issues like sectarianism, like, nepotism can be addressed by merit or grit. That if someone has the merit, then even if you are from whatever tribe, they will pick you out. But others to focus on the word merit and grit is that if in Uganda we had institutions that were functioning, well functioning, I mean, you would not need to thank the president because your salaries have been enhanced, because there would be a proper system that caters for the salary enhancement. And there would be, Parliament would be there to appropriate and say, okay, now we agree that this should be done. But the mere fact that even salary enhancements are by an individual, or the president in this case, does that speak to the fact that our institutions are weak and that they're crumbling?
What makes
Because otherwise they should have been thanking Parliament for enhancing their salaries.
What makes
or for addressing their issues.
What makes institutions to be vibrant are the people occupying these positions in these institutions.
Okay.
Our constitution is very clear. The people have the power to vote people, and that those very people have the power to call them off if they don't perform. It should be our role to tell Ugandans that if you realize that your MPs have not performed to the expectations, call them off. So if MPs have not done their role, then we should tell the Ugandans that you have this right to call them off. And if we don't, then we should blame each other. In fact, I would be so happy if Nelson realized that MPs are not performing. He mobilizes his people through his structures to inform Ugandans that you have this right to call off these MPs. But we are all quiet. So whom should we blame?
So are you saying that there are no functioning institutions?
True. There are institutions working and functioning. We have police. At least I'm sure if you are slapped today, where do you run to as a moderator?
I hope not slapped by this.
Where will you run to? You'll have to run to police. And police is performing.
No, that is a whole different question. Access to justice and things like that.
But police
But-
are seeking help.
But
They
police,
are be-
police
they-
is
they-
also
I
an
want us to go
institution.
to-
they are being attacked day and night,
But
and they are
police-
also running away. They went to the people to be protected. Now police has run away. What are you talking about? We are talking to Ugandans. Ugandans are listening. They are running
The
Ugandans.
question was, are institutions performing?
So how do you
Police is-
perform by running
police
away?
is a performing-
How does police
Judicial-
perform
Courts
by
are
running
performing.
away?
We've seen people being arraigned before
They are
courts.
running away.
We've
How is court
Yusuf.
performing when we are seeing
How?
institution of executive storming court?
How are they running?
Storming court,
How
the
are they
right
running?
honorable prime minister attacking the institution of judiciary in the court, court building in Mengo and issues an order. The following day, you saw the chief justice condemning the act, and you're saying that is functioning.
And he condemned the act basing on the law, says the law is clear, gives our institution a mandate to perform. That means the law has already, hold on. The law has already been set to empower these
But
institutions
the
to function.
executive is disempowering, is overstepping.
However, I would like
Hold
to
on.
agree with Mr.
See,
President.
hold on. These
those
three
are
arms
not
of
functioning
governments
stu-
work together because there's what called checks and balances. You've seen courts coming in to overturn a decision of parliament. We've seen parliament coming in to regulate the salaries of judiciary
No, that's a lie.
because they all work together.
Can I give information?
Yes.
Now, my brother Yusuf, I read a book, the history of constitutionalism by our own Kanyihamba, Professor George William Kanyihamba. And he mentioned something about the three cooking stones, pointing to the judiciary, executive, and the legislature, parliament. You see, they are complementary. But it does not mean that one institution has to override the other. The whole we have seen the executive. You saw the other day, the president coming and saying, for us, we shall not be honoring what, also, you courts, we cannot honor your decisions. You saw. We have seen the executive, head of government business, right honorable prime minister, going to court, storming the court, blood light. And you call that institutions? People are crying of, police is supposed to keep law and order, protect the citizens.
Protect and serve, yes.
Now, police has given up. The order was from the IGP saying, run away. You close the posts, run away. And you call that functioning?
Nelson, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you saying police has closed up.
But it ran away.
Listen, I don't agree with you saying police has closed. We have the headquarters of police which is functioning at Naguru. Has IGG...
Is that
hold on.
sufficient?
He's saying has closed. I'm coming to that.
Is
Has
security...
IGG... Hold on.
have closed.
Can I provide
IG
information?
Hold up. No, first hold up. Yes, make your point.
Has IGP issued a statement, issued a document to police officials telling them, let's resign?
Mr. President, with due respect, you're discussing the form, not the substance. Naguru could be open, yes, but how about the posts that are being closed down there in Chukumi?
There were reasons why they were
in the
closed.
villages.
There were reasons.
Okay?
And these reasons were very clear.
Security is not only here in Kampala. Uganda does not end here in Kampala, here in Naguru. Uganda sits on 24,000, no, actually 240,000 square miles.
Yes.
Right? So you can't analyze security from Naguru here.
No, I was talking of the headquarters of police. And we still have the regional police stations which are operational. We have stations almost everywhere. At Makerere, where you're coming from, don't you have a station there? Has it closed? Hold on, has it closed?
No, it
But okay.
Hold
Do you
on,
want to
hold
say?
on,
Yusuf,
hold
do
on,
you want to say?
hold
Do you want to
on,
speak to
hold
the
on.
camera, not to me?
Oh.
To say that the IGP did not issue an order saying, cause of the attacks, police posts close, and they did not close, or they closed. Do you want to speak not to me, to the camera? You as Yusuf? Then the issue of why they closed is another issue of stabilization. But the issue is they
I'll
closed.
bring you in. I'll bring you in. Lastly, the point of institutions. Because my question to you was that if we had institutions that were functional, the salary enhancements of these medical staff should have been enhanced through a process and procedure. Parliament approves whatever it is, and there's a process. But I think here it is at the whims and mercies of an individual, which I think to me is bad precedent.
True, I agree with you.
Speaking as a legal scholar, I think it is bad precedent.
True, I agree with you. We all need strong institutions that can deliver services to the people. But we should also appreciate the fact that a president plays a very big role in the governance of the country. A president should be on record to ensuring that the welfare of the people are okay. When doctors were demonstrating, when doctors were calling for enhancement in their salaries, what was the position of Parliament? What was the position of MPs? What did they do? Did they go silent? Did they react?
Good question. Macxzzon, you had a concern.
I have seen my friend Nelson trying to tread lies on closing police stations. Who opens police stations? For instance, who opened the police that is near you? It is police, isn't it? So as and when police stations should close, it is a matter of management. It is not a matter of NRM.
No.
I am saying,
I disagree with that, Macxzzon.
I'm coming to this.
Okay, then.
Listen.
He's making it clear.
Listen. There's what we call risk assessment. You get management or leadership of the police can say, because of our capacity, because of the risk assessment, because of command, because of sufficiency, this post should close and we open this. Or this one is no longer sufficient in terms of command, in terms of delivery. Therefore, it can maybe be absorbed into a bigger post or a bigger command. Okay. It is not closing because of what you're saying. About 23rd, 20.
But
about wait.
What you just told us, the insufficiencies and blah blah blah, the underfunding and blah blah blah, are those indictments?
The funding and underfunding. You cannot say underfunding.
Yes, all those things. Do they speak to the indictment?
As and when the police post should be open, because you wake up in the morning and the police post is mounted here. You cannot come here to say, why have they opened the police post here? But when they close, you don't say, why have they closed it? No. The money, just like you trust Kidega here to moderate the show, is how you trust security to be in charge of your welfare. You cannot say, no. For me, I want a police post in my house. Security doesn't work like that. The other issue is, because then you start asking for a police post at your ANT offices, or even we ask for a police post at NRM offices. You say, no, we are ANT and therefore our lives are in danger. Please open a police post here. Security does not work like that. So the other thing I want to mention is the last time
Macxzzon, please comment on the reasons as to why they are being closed.
Oh,
yes.
The reasons as to why they are, as far as I know, the reason as to why they are closed is one, management, and also command. Pattern command. What we call pattern
they were
command.
attacked.
No, listen.
They were attacked
the last time the last attack. Listen.
By armed people.
The last attack.
And shot at.
The last attack.
You're saying command.
Oh, wait. The last attack on about 28th, about 29th of December. No. December. Here at Nakurabie. The assailants abandoned their machinery and even the police picked the 5 rounds of ammunition. The last attack.
How about
so
in Busika? How about in Busika?
Are you saying
where the police fled and left their guns behind?
Are you saying that Nakurabie police station has closed? The last attack we know in books, in security books, even the president highlighted the last attack that has been carried on Uganda police. The assailants abandoned their machines and even rounds of ammunition were picked. Has Nakurabie police post closed because of the attack?
Okay. I think we are swaying away from the conversation. We need to get back.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk
But we shall
about
get back
institutions.
after the break.
Institutions, just 1 second.
We shall get back
yeah,
after
just
the break.
one. We misuse the word independence of institutions. There's what we call, in institutions, there's what we call overlap. You cannot say hugely and entirely or even squarely executive should operate independently. That legislature should operate entirely and squarely.
They complement
There's what we call
override.
yes, there's what we
Nelson,
call,
please allow him make his point.
overlap. You get it? And therefore, the prime minister did not come and close, said, please, all courts of law, please close. Say, my opinion is, because she drove the car and went to Nansana, drove the car, went to Nansana, reached there, found out that the lady had been attacked by people. They robbed her of her property, and eventually they dragged her to court. And she was trying to save the life of this old lady, and she was guiding. He said, yes, the lady is in courts of law, I appreciate, but please, there is some items of the law, I mean of the case that you're missing. That's what she was. But he said, she didn't come to close and abandon and also ignore the courts of law like you're saying. She was simply guiding. And I think it is also important to guide. You get it?
All right.
Maybe
It's important to guide. No,
before we
guys,
close.
let's take a short commercial break. I'll begin with Melissa and Nelson. Viewers, things are very hot in here. But we know that you also have a comment and you have an opinion about what is going on here. There's a comment section right below this YouTube channel. Give us your comments, give us your views. Let us know what you think. But above all, stick with us. See you shortly after this commercial break.
Digital rights are those human rights and legal rights that allow individuals to access, use, create, and publish digital media or to access and use computers, other electronic devices, and telecommunication networks. Digital rights include a right to freedom of expression, information and communication through technology, a right to privacy and data protection, a right to credit for personal works, a right to universal and equal digital access, a right to identity, a right to anonymity, a right to be forgotten, and a right for protection of minors, among others. The state's digital rights are frequently violated through various unfair actions, for example, blockage of websites and social networks, theft of credentials, unauthorized use of people's data for personal gain, privacy intrusion, online censorship, arrests and intimidation of online users, internet blockages, and the proliferation of laws and regulations that undermine the potential of technology to drive social, economic, and political development worldwide. It is hence every citizen's responsibility to respect rights of other digital users and to speak out or report to the responsible parties when one's rights are violated.
Yes, viewers, we'll be back from that short commercial break. Melissa, there is an ongoing debate here regarding independence of institutions. And therein we discuss the arbitrary exercise of power, perhaps by the executive on the other arms of government. So just to pick your comment, do you think, because Nelson brought out an incident where the Prime Minister went ahead to interfere with the judicial process, does that speak to, one, the lack of independence of institutions? Two, is there an arbitrary exercise of power by the executive?
Okay. I believe there is separation of powers for a reason. There is a reason as to why everyone should be independent in their different bodies when doing their different duties. So I believe the Prime Minister, in this case, did not exactly act arbitrarily, because the reason they were there was not to attack, was not to fail the judiciary from doing their duty. She just happened to have a concern that, you know what, I believe you are doing your job, but I want you to know this too while you're doing your job.
Were there procedures provided legally?
That is where
for
I'm
her
going.
to put
That is where
complaint?
I'm going. She might have done it in a wrong way, but leaving alone her power as a prime minister or something like that, any other person could also make a similar mistake in procedure, okay? But that wouldn't mandate an argument of, is there a power struggle? Is someone overly using their powers? Yes, let us accept that our leaders are human beings too, so they are prone to making mistakes and things like that. Because normally I would, if it was another Black Mamba kind of situation, I would definitely say that they overstepped their power. But because this was a sort of different way, what I believe is it was a procedure problem. She should have gone through the right procedures. But I do not think it was using her power to override the other people's power and try to fail them at their duty.
Secondly, as a law student, do you think the office of the president, as per the constitution, is too powerful, has too many powers?
Yes, I do think that it has too many powers.
That is why people can afford to go to kneel the person holding that office.
Yes.
Is it too powerful?
I believe it's too powerful, and the constitution itself gives that office so much power. I mean, minus the power the office has, he has the power to appoint almost 3/4 of the other people working in the other bodies, arms of government. He will appoint ministers. He will appoint the judiciary with assistance of the committee that's supposed to provide the names. But still, we've seen him appoint people who were not provided by the committee, and it was a pull and push, but the person stays. So I believe that he does have, the office has a lot of power, which by any, just like human beings are, any normal human being, living alone, people with values and all, power sort of corrupts human beings. So I believe that to a given extent, because the office has been given so much power, it has managed to corrupt not only the current president, the previous presidents. We've seen history repeating itself in more ways than one, just because when they get there, they get to have a lot of power, and they get to feel like, too much of anything is always bad.
All right. Yusuf, let me come to you. Melissa agrees that the office of the president is too powerful, all right? So does this too powerfulness then defeat what the good Professor Montesquieu told us about separation of powers, that these institutions must operate independently? So the too much power that Melissa concedes to, has it been the root cause of the lack of independence of some of these institutions?
The powers each institution or each arm has were given by Ugandans. This constitution was made after a nationwide consultation. And Ugandans in 1994, 95 chose to empower every arm.
We, the people of Uganda.
We, the people. That is one. Two, I think legislature is more powerful than even executive. Legislature is the only arm mandated to make laws. So whatever the executive does has been made by legislature. Legislature has the power even to call off the president. The president has no power to suspend the proceedings of parliament, but the parliament has the power to, so to me I think the legislature has more powers than the executive. That's one. Two, that it does not mean that the office is more powerful. That's why people are kneeling before it. We have seen people kneeling for other reasons. The other time you saw Chameleon kneeling after receiving a car. So still on the issue of kneeling, to me it's a sign of appreciation. It's a sign of showing love. You saw him saying he wishes one day to see Nelson kneeling before.
And he was very happy when I mentioned
Let's not get there.
And we've seen men kneeling and so on and so forth. So I don't think it's because of the office being powerful that Dr. Oledo knelt. Dr. Oledo knelt because of what he thinks, that they have presented before president, at least to a certain percentage, they have been honored. At least today, doctors are receiving some reasonable kind of payment.
But mothers are dying every day, 17 mothers every day in the hospital.
Of course, death is natural. It cannot be stopped. Even America with the best.
What is the mortality rate here?
Hold on. Even the US with the best health facilities, UK with the best health facilities, Queen died.
They were abandoned by America
Died
was
at
actually
what
I get
age?
the
abandoned
point. So
by
death
Ebola.
is natural.
Died at what age?
Oh, before we go
Sorry,
into age
by
and all that,
COVID-19.
But do you know that in Uganda we
Mr.
have people who are
President.
more older than even the Queen at the age he died at?
How many people today? How many people today? I'm
Oh.
speaking to the audience. How many people today who have, you know, early morning walk to their health center go to the line, reached with the exercise book, and all they have received is a direction. Panadol, paracetamol,
I think it's my turn.
buy it. No, let me speak to
He
Uganda.
has
This
not
is an
asked me.
important.
Yes,
It
yes,
is
you
an
are- you
important
didn't ask
point.
me.
It is an
I'm
important
the one
point.
who was on the
I
floor.
will just
You
say,
had to
Ugandans,
ask me.
hold on. I will speak.
You had to ask me to
But-
give you a chance to speak.
Maybe
So-
maybe I don't know what the president is saying.
Yes.
Does
I've said my point. It will come to you.
as my friend Nelson is, can he tell us how many people with the entire medical machinery the United States has? Can he tell us how many people died of COVID-19 vis-a-vis how many people died in
And
Uganda?
before he tells us that, you
Particularly-
were talking
But it's my
about
time.
Look at the cause of death. Here we die because of malaria.
Yeah.
We die because of
Delayed service.
Delayed service.
you are talking
No,
about
there are other reasons, Mr.
professionalism.
Kidega.
Look at the reasons as
There
to
are,
why
there are
people
also
are
other
dying.
reasons. You see,
Malaria,
those people
whole
in
thing.
Western countries, they have embraced the issue of physical
Tuberculosis.
fitness, physical exercise. Someone wakes up in the morning, runs around, runs in the evening. Did you run in the morning?
So
No,
do you want
did
to
you
tell
run in
me
the morning?
someone
You
today
keep your
who
body
is at
physically
Mulago
fit. Oh, no.
waiting for
Physically
service?
fit,
That is
Someone
lifestyle.
who is at a regional
That is
hospital.
lifestyle.
Have you gone to a regional hospital? You find somebody with a cannula sleeping down there. Around 50 people in a room, which is supposed to have 25 people.
Actually, 36 years ago, even cameras were not there.
No, I am trying. So,
Are you aware?
but where are we
No
supposed to be?
hospital,
Are we
no
supposed
camera,
to be 36
no
years
camera,
ago?
Once we
no
are moving,
hospital.
Are we
no
supposed
what?
to be
We should
36
appreciate
years
it.
At
ago?
least you have a
Dr.
camera.
Oledo was appreciating at least what he thinks.
Let's think
what
about
he thinks
that
President has
border
done.
person
No,
who has
you
gotten
remember
an
that there was a
accident
time-
today.
Nelson.
He has gone to
there was-
Mulago Emergency Department and is bleeding to death
Thank you.
because of delayed.
Dr.
services
Oledo was
in
appreciating some of the things he sees President Museveni in his leadership has done. There was a time Uganda had one university, but at least in the time of President Museveni, we have over 54 universities. There was a time when places like Karamoja were inaccessible. You could take months to reach such places.
But they are dying
But at
of
least,
hunger.
hold on. But at least today, you don't need days to reach Karamoja. There was a time Ugandans couldn't freely transact because of insecurity, because of other reasons. Today, Nelson, you can move from here, you go to Mbarara, you go to Gulu with your money and do transactions and come back and live happy.
Even speaking,
Even speaking, there was a time we could utter such a statement, you couldn't live out of these studios. But today, you live and go,
You can
sleep
cross the legs
happily,
even.
so on and so forth. There was a time.
Do you know that it is my inherent
Hold on.
right?
No, it is not.
Hold
At
on.
that time, it was
Hold
not
on.
inherent.
There was a
At
time-
that time, it
there was a
not
time-
inherent.
Okay,
Nelson,
we are speaking of the
Moderator,
president.
moderator, this is my turn.
Nelson, please.
Nelson, there was a time when you didn't have anything called law. Then we didn't have this rule of law in this country. The president was the constitution, the president was the regulation, the president was the law. Today you can speak, claim all the rights you are talking of because they provided for in the constitution, which was brought by the current
He's even
regime.
from outside.
You
Those
see,
days he
so
couldn't
there are
move.
things which we have as well to appreciate. There was a time when we never had any political party today. I'm happy today seeing you putting on an
Very smart.
alliance for national transformation. Today we have a number of political parties and you are free to form any political party you wish.
Even the headquarters
So
are
there are
right.
reasons why Dr. Oledo chose Beston to kneel and appreciate the president.
Okay. Nelson, I'm coming to you. Nelson, my question to you is that
Nelson can't
Just-
believe it.
we're in 2022. We have about 3 years or 4 to the next general election. Has the politics come too early? Because ideally, this time until around 2025, it should be for service delivery. All right? Trying to see our infrastructure, trying to see our hospitals and all these things. Has the politics come too early? And as you speak about this, I ask because we are in the wake of endorsements. Oh, we endorse you for this. Oh, we endorse you for this. You know. So has the politics come too early this time around?
Thank you, moderator. You know, sometimes you need to get a moment of silence when you see where Uganda is heading. And just before I comment to your question, I was just listening to my heart, relating the two, where you're having someone self-gratifying, you know, trying to, he has a position of power and authority to negotiate as a right, but he thinks he can, by way of manipulation, use people for self-favors. That was the act for me for Dr. Samuel Olendo Odong. When we are having somebody in Mulago, or someone back in Kamwenge, Health Center 3 in Rwamanja, who has woke up in the morning, made a line, and he was told that, look, today there is no drug in this, there is no prescription for you, but you can get it in that private clinic. They even in that corner with the blue shade. That's very fascinating for Ugandans. When you're having a border person who has reached Murago on an emergency, is bleeding to death. When a person of authority has gotten an opportunity in broad daylight before the president, instead of advocating such interests for Ugandans, is using a platform to manipulate for his self-gratification. That's something that I just wanted to make clear, and it was very perturbing and embarrassing, dehumanizing of the profession of medical association. Actually, their motto is to, you know, service. Their motto, there is their motto here. I will give it before I leave. Coming to the issue of the endorsement and the other politics, vis-a-vis the ought to be done, which is supposed to be service delivery, my friend. We need to understand the political temperature, even the intrigue that is happening. Maybe, I never wanted to speak about it, but the NRM also people know. Where you're having, actually the endorsements are happening in NRM. We don't have them in ANT. I've not had them in other political parties. But in NRM...
I like the fact that you follow NRM very well.
No! we need to understand our NRM. You're seeing today one group is endorsing Tova Kumeini, another one is saying standby generator. So I don't want to go there. For whatever issue, for us as ANT, we do not look at an individual. We look at building a strong institution that the moment it is strong, any person through a credible process takes, you know, holds the flag of ANT, feels potentially supported to win a seat. And that's what we are doing as ANT, doing grassroots mobilization at all levels to ensure that we build a party beyond a person.
So Macxzzon, Nelson, you're saying that the ANT, as we speak right now, is building structures across the country. So does it mean that you've allowed the NRM to set the precedent for the political terrain? Because the NRM, as it stands, they are busy in politics, endorsements after another. So have you allowed their political temperature to lay the foundation, and you're following suit?
No, let them make the mistakes.
Because right now, what you ought to be doing is to hold the NRM accountable. You promised ABCD. How far have you gone with healthcare? How far have you gone with transport? But you're also busy.
No, as we do that, we do the preparation. We are not doing the endorsements. You see, NRM is in power. We cannot dispute that. Okay? And you have the mandate now to say, deliver. And you are supposed to be held accountable. The unfortunate that has happened is now that they seem to change the entire terrain. Now to the endorsement aspects, we do not care. For us as ANT, as you're busy making mistakes, taking for granted the will of Ugandans, ANT and Ugandans, we are preparing. Let us salvage this country. It is at crossroads. It is on fire. We are like on Russian roulette. NRM is playing a Russian roulette. Those who don't know a Russian roulette, it is a barrel where, you know, in Russia, where there are 5 holes, but one of the holes has a bullet. And you people, you keep spinning it knowing that one bullet, one hole, the moment you pull the trigger, one will die. The unfortunate thing that has happened for Uganda is that the barrel with the bullet, the Russian roulette barrel with the bullet is on Ugandans, not on the head of state, because they will rush away, they will run away and do that. So Ugandans, we just pray.
Macxzzon,
We just pray.
You are doing what he defines as the Russian
Yeah, roulette.
roulette.
You're just praying, and the barrel is on the head of Uganda.
Have you
Very
invited,
bad,
as
very
the
bad.
political party that is ruling this country, have you invited Ugandans too soon to the politics? Because right now it should be about service delivery. You promised Ugandans so many things. The parish development model. You promised us infrastructure. You promised us security. Right now should be the time that you are focused on delivering it. Have you missed out on that, and now you've invited Ugandans too soon to play politics?
Thank you very much. The NRM is a nationalist organization which serves the interests of the people and not the interests of the sections of Ugandans. Since 1986, we have been in charge of delivering services to all Ugandans. And it is a multidimensional operation. The politics, the administration, the social aspect, and also the economic thing. As I talk, 12% of the parish model development model funds has been dispensed to what is to the already prepared and organized entities that are supposed to receive that. I also want to believe that by 2026 or by 2025, the manifesto implementation team will give us the update on how far. As I also speak, since 2021, in February, I was checking the facts, more than 14% of the roads that are supposed to be tarmacked by 2040, 12% is already complete, and I was seeing 40% already on the way. However, everything is political. I'm a political scientist, and everything is political. But these endorsements logically show how much Ugandans love their president. They show, whether you're in medicine, whether you're in law, whether you're in court, whether you're in the barracks, whether you were in office, it logically shows how Ugandans love the president.
Are they trying to counter another force?
No, there is no force. There is no force, because you cannot counter against
Because
yourself.
there was a force that was trying to organize parties and everywhere and getting endorsements. So people are saying that the NRM is being reactionary.
No,
and only trying to react to
this is not the first.
And we are waiting for the announcement.
This is not the first endorsement. This is not the first time we are seeing endorsements. I remember the Honorable Anita in Changwan's way back in time. I don't think there was a force that is coming in. But also, in NRM, there is no law that says endorsements should start one year to elections.
But that actually is my concern. That
the reason I gave you prelude.
We have just finished a highly tense political season.
The reason I gave you the background of how much is being achieved as I speak, regardless of this organized crime of these funny assailants that are being dealt with. Uganda is peaceful, border to border. I've told you infrastructure is going on. I was looking at how Lere is going to be revamped and also extended. I've talked about the purpose vehicle that is supposed to take the 5 years parish development model. I've also seen education. I think this year we have the education sector. Most of the students are going home. In terms of trade, we are looking at one of the greatest achievements, having added Congo to our economy, trading with 90 million Congolese who are hungry, who are eager to trade with us. I was looking at the export. We have since COVID-19, since the relaxation of lockdown, I saw 22% of the increase of our trade exports. So there is nothing that has stopped because people are going to Kororo or someone is holding a press conference to say something. There's nothing that has stopped in terms of service delivered and something like and other things. I want to respond to this passionate man about NRM.
Man of ANT.
Yeah, but passionate about NRM. I'm
not passionate about NRM.
You cannot follow what you're not passionate about.
Not
Cannot
at all.
follow because we don't have information about FDC, but you only have information about NRM. It means you're passionate, which is not bad anyway. One is that NRM has got methods of work and operation. We don't work according to how ANT wants us to work. We don't work according to how FDC wants us to work. We have been working since 1980.
At your own pace?
Yes, at our own pace.
At the expense of Ugandans.
Which Ugandans?
Ugandans, there is a low person, a lady, or sleeping on the floor because of lack of bed capacity in the hospital.
And to respond, ladies and gentlemen, whoever is viewing us, as political leaders, or as ANT or other political parties that are competing with NRM, your mandate is to convince Ugandans that, ladies and gentlemen, what NRM has been doing since 1981 is not good, and therefore they are incompetent. Can you please allow us to lead you? Then they can give you. But as you speak, you don't see even a lame member of parliament of ANT. So you cannot keep deceiving Ugandans. We are building structure. We are building structure.
No,
we are
but
building
Macxzzon,
structure.
the UPM had only one member of parliament in 1980, right?
Yeah.
Do you doubt the strength of the NRM today?
It is not.
So exactly. So you cannot use the current status to.
No. We are discussing now. He's trying to say, for us, NRM is making mistakes. We are building strength. We are building structures, and therefore NRM is making mistakes. It is okay. Don't tell us about the mistakes. Galatians 6:7. We shall. I mean, Matthew 15 says, "We shall see them by their fruits." 2026, Ugandans will tell us who has been working and who has been building.
We are waiting for you. No.
Since
My question
yes.
is coming to you. Because it appears to be a 3 against 1, so I have to give you some more time. We are discussing the medical profession here, but there are many other institutions that we believe should be divorced from politics. All right? One of those is the military, and which I think we agree on that consensus that the military should leave our politics. Have you had, because if we are to reconcile this country, we must be able to tell the truth and speak about it. In the ANT, your party leader did represent the UPDF in parliament at some point.
In the movement system.
In the movement system, yes.
Which was okay.
No, it wasn't.
It was in the movement system.
It was, yes, it was. But parliament should have been divorced from the military, from the word go, whether under movement or multi-party, okay? So deep down, do you consider at some point that even your party leader or your party principles, that you've actually played a part to where we are today, and therefore we must rethink some of these decisions that we made and right the wrongs?
Well, just to also inform Ugandans and the panelists, to say, one, the law then, now we operate by law. The law then, we had movement system and all that. At the time when General Muntu represented the army
UPDF in parliament, yes.
in parliament. So now, today, we all know that by law, a serving officer, and by the decided case of Tinyefuza, and Tumukunde, Henry Tumukunde case, we all know that as a serving officer, you're not supposed to indulge in political discussion. But as of today...
But the law provides for 10 UPDF MPs. to be in parliament. Parliament is a political space.
I am coming because that's also wrong. We don't subscribe to that as ANT.
No, but then your party did. Your party leader was comfortably.
You know, that was then in the movement system. We shifted. We are in.
Actually, for information, he was part of the machinery that promulgated the constitution and gave powers.
So, may I please? Because he was
the
army commander.
Yes, he participated in the promulgation.
He was the army commander from 1889 to 98.
And therefore,
do we agree?
And therefore,
can I speak to my time? Thank you. So, when you talk about, when you're seeing a serving army officer giving international threats, committing a country to an international war, committing a country to an international negotiation with internationally recognized rebels, committing a country we are ready to attack. Very unfortunate. This can only happen in Uganda. It cannot happen in Kenya. It cannot happen in Tanzania. It is only in Uganda where such reckless statements that put at risk the life of all Ugandans happen, all in the name of I am the first son. We are seeing him be, moving all over the country, making political statements, and is not brought question. He has even, you saw the relations. Bringing the head of state, now we are not talking about the father, we are talking about the head of state to apologize, to apologize to another state. There is something, a wrong is a wrong, a right is mighty. Let's agree. So for me, when it comes to UPDF, representation in parliament, wrong. We cannot continue to practice wrong. If it was wrong, if we have recognized, let's put it to a stop. We cannot continue in a vicious cycle. 2, she mentioned about the powers of the president because now he feels he's powerful. As ANT, we believe that the power of the president must be demystified. Yes, because it is not the Alpha and Omega. President Museveni is not immortal. He's also mortal. Let's think about tomorrow as young people. Let us now articulate issues of tomorrow.
Is ANT ready to demystify the powers of General Muntu?
We are ready to demystify the power of the president.
Because there are so many options in 2021. Why did he choose to?
No. I can decide, if I feel I have
virtually decided on him, right?
No, I can decide to say I need to run. Yes, I have a right in ANT. So I have an equal right.
So you are coming to run against him.
I have an equal right in ANT. I have an equal voice in ANT as General Muntu is. Today, General Muntu is not our party leader. Is not our party coordinator. Our constitution is one of the unique models here in Uganda.
Boss in front of the camera.
Yes, look, our constitution, if you decide to take any elective position, even if it is chairman LC1, elective position, you are not allowed to be the party national coordinator. The main purpose is to put an end where you're having someone is a national party coordinator and is building the party around himself because they have interest. And that's how we need to transform the culture, that you have somebody who's there, whose time, space, and mind is devoted to creating space for others to play for the benefit of Uganda. And that's what ANT is doing.
Mr.
Lastly, may
I wouldn't want this to skip the occasion.
Yeah, please.
I feel like the problem with most of these parties, you're always throwing around accusations. Your president, our president. If you are reducing the powers, reduce the powers of the office of the president. Do not say, Mr. Museveni is not immortal. Do not say, Mujisha, will you reduce the powers of Mujisha Muntu? No,
I corrected him, maybe. On the record, I corrected him. I said, the office of the president. I corrected him.
It is the office of the president that is going to be in which this person is going to be serving. Yes. So I really
I corrected him.
Subscribe to
you see, he wanted to take you to the wrong direction. I corrected him on camera. So now, as we come to the conclusion of this matter, for me, I just make a call to all Ugandans. It's high time, amidst all this kind of excitement, deep down in your heart, just envision the Uganda you wish to live for your daughter, for your son, for the generations to come. The Uganda you think you want to live in as an old person in your retirement age. And scan all of us, the parties, which party is fully committed and devoted to bring that hope to your doorstep.
All right. We leave that to Ugandans to think about and decide in the next 2-3 years. Melissa, let me just come to you. Just coming back to the incident that happened in Kololo, President Odong said that he described the president and therein tried to make us understand the kind of maybe attachment he has to the president, where he said that his father, Oledo's father, served under direct command of the president. So he was trying to show how perhaps they are close or how they have an attachment. So do you think that these personal attachments at times end up influencing or affecting our judgment towards certain issues? Because could his personal attachments to the president have blurred his judgment in this matter?
Well, I cannot speak for him and what was going on in his brain because I would be lying.
No, but he said his statements.
Yes,
he said, my dad serves under your,
he did say, but I would want to separate my opinion from what he was thinking. I would want this to be my opinion.
Yeah.
I believe that these kinds of relations are the reason we have so much nepotism, corruption, and all that within our country. Because normally, even just friendship, people will say that person is bad, and you're like, no, if you got to know them personally, you would know that they are good people. And this is because the closer you get to someone, sometimes it blurs the bad things and you decide to focus on the good things. And if you decide to focus on the bad things too, like my friend here, I've not had anything positive from him towards NRM or the other towards AND, because that's where they focus.
Immunization, I was immunized. That's what I was told. So, that's a positive thing.
see how downplayed it is, because that is the angle in which he looks at NRM. So yes, it could be possible that his kind of relation with this person blurred his judgment. But again, maybe it's not the relation. Maybe it's other things for his case. But for any other normal human being's case, relations do blur the lines. And yeah.
All right. Mr. President, the Deputy Vice President of UMA, I think they've called for an AGM, or they're bound to have one, I think in the next month or something. Do you think Mr. Olwedo could be facing certain political implications for his actions in the AGM? Like censure, like maybe, I don't know. As a politician, what do you anticipate?
I think I borrow from my brother, Macxzzon rather. No one was forced to kneel. These are people above 18 years, and the statement was in Uganda, Mbasaba.
Didn't control, he didn't force anyone.
Mbasaba, it means I am requesting you. You have a
Sometimes
right.
begging you.
Yes, even begging.
Yeah.
It means you have a right either to accept or kusabibwa.
That was manipulation.
No.
Before the president, you
Moderator.
are between. You are between a hard rock and a hard place. You are between a hard rock and a hard place.
Moderator, protect me.
That was manipulation.
Let me be
really.
between God and Museveni, who is more powerful?
No, that.
No, let's go slowly.
He played an
Between
God. God is my.
Thank you.
God
But
is
if
powerful.
If Satan was able to disobey before God, what does it take for you as a human being to disobey if you think something is not right for you?
So Satan did right.
No, he disobeyed because he thought that wasn't proper for him. So what I'm saying
you're
is,
saying that the medical
these are people
doctors
above 18 years.
And if I was there, if I was a medical doctor, I would not bow.
You're not a
You
medical
are not a
doctor.
medical.
If I
You
was
still have a
there,
chance. You can
I
go back to A-level,
I
study
was not
sciences.
going to
You
bow.
have a right. Go back, study sciences, become a doctor. You have a chance. So, no one was
You want to be everything. You want to live in the information. You want to be a medical.
no one was forced to kneel. He requested them. Mbasaba, mujje tufukamire. And whoever accepted went willingly. That is one. Two, whatever will happen after that, it is between them as the leadership of Umma. I believe.
And the grass is Ugandan suffering.
No, thank
Yes.
you. Macxzzon, I want to come to you.
But before moderator, you go to Macxzzon.
Yes.
He has been saying, I wanted to interject, but I said, no, let me keep quiet. He has been saying that for them as auntie, as we speak,
Not auntie, aunt.
as aunt, they are moving around the country, strengthening their institutions. They have not yet reached here. But I saw them on TV in Soroti. I saw them in Soroti the other day. There was a time in Uganda when no one could be allowed to mobilize people not to follow the sitting president. But today, happily, you move around and mobilize. Hold on.
I have to inform
You
you.
move around and mobilize people. You should thank NRM for that.
But
There was a time such an act could lead you to death penalty. But today, I'm told you are now in Mayuge.
just
And so on and so
information
forth.
on how we
Two,
get
I want
there.
to give you information. You were saying you don't act, you are against such powers given by the president by the constitution. I think you have a member of parliament as an.
Hasn't we
They don't.
Just for information purposes.
Okay. I pray.
And we are looking forward to have.
Did you ask that question in sarcastic?
So for whatever it is, I am not hurt. I know what we are doing shall yield results, and we will testify.
We wish you the best.
All right, there shall
Wish you the
they
best.
shall yield results. Macxzzon, you've heard. They shall
Mr.
yield.
Mod-
Okay, 1 minute.
He lost the point.
1 minute.
All in all, I wish you the best. But
Thank you
I can
very
say
much.
your kind of politics as aunt is well suited for countries like US.
But US, they are people. You know,
Thank
we
you.
were born of
Moderator, I can-
God's
Nelson.
image with the same power.
Nelson.
It is attitude,
Nelson,
mindset change.
Nelson, I will get back to you. Macxzzon, Mr. Olwedo, with his team, went ahead to endorse President Museveni to contest in the next election. I don't know if they're members of the NRM or not, but I know you are a member of the NRM. Now, does this endorsement reconcile with the views of the youth in the NRM? Do you also agree as the youth that, oh wow, these doctors reason like us, we believe that President Museveni should be given another Chisanja? So what are the voices of the youth in the NRM
Yeah.
compared to the voices of the doctors?
Actually, it came late. But on record,
What came late?
on the
endorsement.
Delayed on the way.
But nonetheless, it really appeared finally. For me, I am interested in the fact that Ugandans, you know, when Jesus was here, he was beaten, he was tormented, he was taken to the cross until today, when he left, and around 90% of the 8 billion people in the whole world, every morning they take their knees and mention that name, Jesus. We might not see the importance. Some few Ugandans might not see the importance of the president, but I want to say that looking at where this country has been before, where it is, and the prospects, every Ugandan, it is the right time, gives the president a chance to again lead and take us forward.
Why?
Why
President Museveni?
One, his contribution to this country, his sacrifice to this country, the revolutionary leadership to this country, the guidance to this country, and
So
and,
has he met other people to continue with that vision?
absolutely.
With that, you know.
You know, the president is going to not to be here for the next 200 years, and Uganda will be here. Uganda is President Museveni is not going to be the president biologically of Uganda in the next 40 years, and I don't want to think the NRM will not be here in the next 40 years. And so, our constitution in the NRM levels and gives us the mandate to choose leaders through processes systemically, systematically, and in a very, very, very well.
So as it stands, the NRM doesn't have any other alternative.
There are so many alternatives, but when time comes for 2025, 2026, then we shall say, okay, there is this option, there is this option, but we can go with this. But we can go with this. Did he accept?
He didn't. He denied it.
You know, the issue is, like you said, we don't discuss the substance. We like just when you say, Macxzzon, I request, like he said, I request that you stand 2025, 2026 rather. It is him to say no or yes. You get? It is also NRM to say run or don't run.
So, someone said that the NRM no longer represents the views of Ugandans on their Twitter. How true? Do you think that is?
NRM is composed of Ugandans. So which other Ugandans was he talking about? NRM is, I am a Ugandan. You're not a Kenyan. He's a Ugandan. You're a Ugandan. So when you say NRM does not represent them, if it works for you, it protects you.
Is
it
NRM
promotes,
a reactionary party?
It is not. It is a revolutionary party.
Okay, fair enough.
So
Yes, you had certain concerns. I'll give you 2 minutes, then we shall take parting shots and call this an afternoon.
thank you.
Okay, as you're doing it,
I will not go to this.
Mr. President, your last words on the show.
Thank you, moderator, once again. I request my fellow students, we still have Ebola and COVID is also, I think, on the way still. I will request you to be so vigilant and be very careful how you spend your life. I mean, how you enjoy your life, how you move around, the people you interact with. Be very careful. Otherwise, we may lose you. As we near the festive season, be very careful when you're enjoying the festive season. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Macxzzon, your last words.
Yeah, there are basically three. One is that we are in the festive season, and usually it is associated with a lot of criminality, wrong elements, wrong characters in society, recklessness on the road, and stealing and things like that. How I wish all young people managed their situations and life accordingly and responsibly, because you're still here much longer. You still have to offer contribution to this country, and also at least do something for yourself. So if you get an accident and you're broken, or if you die, then you don't contribute. Yet, in my opinion, our first mandate of being here on earth is to contribute to humanity or society. So I urge the young people to really be conscious in this festive season, but also to tell everyone that the primary role of Uganda, of NRM, is to make sure Uganda is prosperous, Uganda is peaceful, and also moving forward. That is what we are working on every day, every night, 24/7. I also want to say that I also want to add my voice to the president's voice that yes, we have some organized crime because of the sutures, the lines of weakness along the borders. But like it has been the case for the last 30 plus years, Uganda is a peaceful country. And all these criminals, we shall just stamp them out. We are a safe country. Thank you so much.
All right. Nelson.
I want to thank you and the Civic Space TV for giving this opportunity to all of us this afternoon to have an engagement of this nature that puts us to test in front of Ugandans. And it is them that really know what should equally represent them. My call is to the young women and men of integrity, of character, who are committed to see change, a transformative change happen in our country, Uganda. Let's not, work in silos. Let's come out and engage in Alliance for National Transformation, a values-based political organization ready to change the political culture of this country. And as we always say in ANT, it is people first, a new future. Thank you much. Yeah, thank you very much for listening.
Yes, Melissa.
So I want to thank you all for this experience, and to the listeners, I feel like I want to tell you about professional competence, which is a habitual and judicious way of expressing your knowledge, technical skill, and emotions, power. So anywhere you get in your life, in your profession, we are studying, want to be lawyers, want to be anything, make sure you think about professionalism every time you are given the opportunity to carry on a mantle of your society, of your person. Okay. So like they've all said, festive season, it's one of my best seasons. So I would want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, and there's still time. There's still time to do those things you said you would do before the year ends.
All right. Macxzzon, lastly, as I come back beside, which team would you love to win the World Cup, or which team do you think will win the World Cup?
As
just mention the country.
just like countries are gifted with these natural resources and all that. God gifted Brazil with football, and every person, every football player would want to play Brazil or even be in Brazil for football.
So you think Brazil will win?
It is going to win the trophy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yusuf.
I'm Team Brasilia.
Team Brazil again.
She's Brazil, Melissa is also Brazil.
Nelson.
Yeah, I am here in Africa.
Senegal.
Don't ask me about it.
And I am Team Senegal.
So Senegal will win Senegal World is Cup. out.
Senegal
win World
lost.
Cup.
Yes,
they're
and
out.
we have walked out.
Yeah.
I supported its
Senegal.
matches,
Yeah.
and I have been supporting the 5 countries:
Senegal,
Morocco, Tunisia,
Cameroon.
Cameroon. Yeah.
Yes.
But
So,
do you know why
now-
it is? Do you know why it is Brazil actually?
Guys, now that they're out, what team
It is
love to
Brazil.
win?
Well, for now, I
Brazil.
am not. I'm not in to say it's for Brazil. It's not, or it is.
Melissa,
We wait and
Don't
watch.
ask me about
just pick any
football.
team, any
Nah,
country.
I refuse.
Well, me at least the one team that has so many Africans.
No,
is
what?
France.
No.
It's France.
Brazil is the only country, non-African country with the largest African population.
No, I mean the players. If you look at the
Yes.
French
Yes,
team from
yes,
the
yes.
defense to
Yes,
everywhere,
yes,
that's the black.
it's
So at least
Africa.
me as a Pan-African, I think really France should make us
I
proud.
feel
But
like
guys,
you're
thank you.
selfish
But guys, thank you.
because they won, so let's someone else.
Guys, thank you. Guys, thank you. Our time is fast spent. Thank you, Comrade Macxzzon, Comrade
Thank you.
Yusuf, Comrade Melissa, and Comrade Nelson for sparing the time to be on the Youth Roundtable. Of course, to our technical team, thank you for ensuring that this show airs right on time. Well, have a lovely festive season. We wish you nothing less than blessings. Bye-bye. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.